Heidi, welcome. Thank you for being with me today. It's so good to hear all the things that are happening in Marion and all of the different pieces that you're bringing together for the community. And so today I just want to focus on the urban microfarming. And if you can just kind of give me a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself first, and then talk a little bit about what urban microfarming is.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me today, Lynn. My name is Heidi Jones. I am the Executive Director of Marion Matters, and we are a nonprofit organization that's been working the last 12 years as a Bridges community. We've brought the Bridges Out of Poverty concepts to Marion, and now we're making sure that our businesses, our agencies, our community understands what it means to use the concepts, not just a training to check off their list, but we offer Getting Ahead, where we're one of the communities in Ohio that offer the Employer Resource Network. And so for us, it's looking at our community and finding ways to holistically approach instability. So in a nutshell, that's what we're all about.
Great. And so urban microfarming meets one of the goals that you just talked about. So really tell me a little bit about the project and what's happening.
Sure. So this project is really cool. We are collaborating with the Ohio State University. A couple of years ago, Ohio State reached out to the community. They were part of a Big Ten venture that worked with Schmidt's Trust to work on what they called realizing the American dream. So it was, how do we strengthen our middle class? And there was some money involved with it. How do we start an initiative in a community? And urban microfarming was something that was sort of born out of that. And over in Mansfield, there's a branch of the Ohio State University, and they've been able to work with a community organization there to pilot the urban microfarming concept, and they've done it really well, and it's something that can be duplicated. And so for us, it was kind of jumping on board to say, do we have the need in Marion for an urban microfarm, and how does this project work? And so for us, we spent months working with our Chamber of Commerce as well, asking the community, helping them understand first what a microfarm is. So I'll kind of start there. An urban microfarm is a full scale would be 4 microfarms on, up to 10 acres of land. And each of those can be operated by one organization, or it could be individuals who contribute. So one urban microfarm would consist of 2 high tunnels, which allows the farmer to have an extended growth season. So they can grow into the fall and winter and early spring months, some of those crops. And there are 10 outdoor beds that go with that as well. And if you need those raised beds, if not, you can plant in the ground as well. And so one of those kits can be built on as little as a third of an acre. So if you've got a residential lot with a third of an acre and you think, gosh, I'd like to be my own, I'm an entrepreneur. I'd like to own my own business. I do like to grow. I want to learn more about it. I could do that right on my residential street. And so basically it's designed as an entry-level business opportunity. And along with that comes 2 years of training. So all of our farmers, you don't have to know how to be a farmer. You just have to be willing to dedicate the 2 years of time, and it's free of charge. So you're getting this training at no cost to you. And again, we're partnering with Ohio State to offer that. So we're going to walk through the classroom pieces, understanding how to grow, how to plant, what are things that we look for, what are the pests that could invade our farm and cause us to lose money. And so we learn all of those things. And the farm themselves, being on a third of an acre, they're workable by an individual, maybe 20 to 25 hours a week. So it's something that you could supplement your income with if that's what you're looking to do. Or maybe you say, gosh, I want to have 2 of those kits and have, 4 of those high tunnels and 20 beds. I could work for 50 hours and this could be my total income. And so the net annual income from one farm, so if you did just the 2 high tunnels and the 10 beds, you could earn up to $30,000 per year. So that could definitely be a great supplement, or that could be a good income for someone who's, only making, minimum wage or just a little above. And so being able to work that business depending on what your capabilities are. I mean, it's for those who are certainly able-bodied, you could get more labor intensive, but it's one of those things too that if you partner up with someone and you could bring some volunteers on to work your farm as well to help with that. And they can be implemented, like I said, residentially. Blighted properties, if any communities have a land bank, that's a great resource to look for. So if you've got a farmer who says, I don't have land myself, but I would like to do this, we're collaborating with our land bank right now to take a look at what properties are available, and could one of our micro farmers acquire one of those. And Marion Matters has actually done that. So we are in a neighborhood in Marion that has been very long neglected. We work to bring some commerce back. There's really not much here. And so we worked with our land bank. We acquired a property that we'll be putting an urban microfarm on. So we're bringing some commerce back to the neighborhood. But not only that, we're going to work with the school system. Our city schools here, they wrote a grant. They got $200,000 to implement urban microfarming into their curriculum as a career pathway. And so for us, one of the city schools, there are elementary schools in our neighborhood. So we plan to work with the schools to implement that into elementary school curriculum, have the kiddos come down as part of their science class, work in the microfarm, anything that they plant and sell, they would take back to the school as part of a fundraiser. And so we want to collaborate that way. And then also too, any grade B crop that we couldn't sell to a restaurant or a grocery store, we plan to give away to people in the neighborhood. So there's going to be food access. We are in a food desert. And so having food access here, healthy food access, would be important for us as well. And so it changes the landscape. So ideally, it is a business venture. And what each of these farmers do, they join a cooperative that allows them to kind of pay into that cooperative. It will hire someone who will design crop plans based on what buyers need. And so part of this project, which makes it a little unique than just farming on your own or by yourself, is being part of that cooperative. We have someone there who's going to go out into the community and line up those buyers for you. So right now we have 11 farmers who are in training. One of them is a Getting Ahead graduate, which is so exciting. And so what we're working on now and what we've been doing is meeting with restaurants, local restaurants here, grocery stores, to start lining up those buyers. And so what will happen is, once we've got all of our buyers lined up, all of the, what crop do you need? How many pounds do you need? That goes to the cooperative. The cooperative then puts the crop plans together, gives them to each of the farmers who belong to the cooperative, and says, this is how many carrots you need to plant. This is how much parsley or kale or beets or whatever it looks like. This is what you need to plant, because this is what you've sold. So that does guarantee that, we're going to cut down on waste, whether it's having to throw produce away or, gosh, I've spent so much money on seed and then no one bought that. So being part of the project and being part of the cooperative gives you, access to that, being able to save money and really guarantee that you're going to make a little bit of money. And just like every business, there are startup costs. So to build a micro farm, it's anywhere between $35,000 and $50,000, depending on the condition of the land. So if you've got water and electric already on the property, you're going to be more in that $35,000 range. But if you have to run water and electricity, you're going to go more to that higher end. And so with any business, your startup costs, you've got to recoup those before you start making money. And so, it is a business venture. Folks becoming an entrepreneur, empowering them with the skills that they need, along with the classroom work and learning about farming. You also put a business plan together, which will help you as you're looking to go out into the community to get support. And that's something that we, as a microfarm project and task force, we're looking to get some of that support lined up as well. So one of the things that we're working on is, because being a Bridges community, I always wear my Heidi from Poverty hat when I'm out in the community, and I want to bring any opportunity that's available back to the individuals that we're serving and working with. And so one of the questions that I had early on was, this sounds amazing, but I know most of my getting ahead graduates do not have enough credit built to get a loan for $35,000 or $50,000. So what can we do about that? And so one of the pieces that we're working on here is a revolving loan fund, and we're looking for community support to help fund that. We're working with a local credit union, Pillar Credit Union, who has been a partner of Marion Matters for years. They have agreed to sort of hold that account for us and do the loan management piece of it. So if we have a farmer who completes the 2 years of training, then that's another perk for them. They would have access to that revolving fund that they do have to pay back. It will be at a lower interest rate and accessible to anyone. So whether you've got perfect credit or you're still building your credit, that makes it a little bit easier for you to be able to start your farm. And so that's all of what we're able to do as we put this together as a project. And I think a lot of people say, well, how is this different than community gardening? Community gardening is great, but you're depending on the community to take care of it on a volunteer basis. This is an actual business, so you have to look at it that way. You have to plan for time to work your crop and things like that. So because we've had a misconception. We have community gardens. Yes, we do in Marion. This is not a community garden. This is economic development. Urban agriculture is on the rise, and the USDA is considering it in lots of avenues. I mean, there's funding out there that we can begin to look at through the USDA. It shortens the supply chain. That's one of the benefits of having the urban microfarms. Our restaurants, our grocery stores, they have access to this food much quicker. All of the crops, so each of the farmers, no matter where they're located in our community, their crops go into what we call an aggregation kitchen, which is part of being in that co-op. Everything goes to the ag kitchen. It gets separated, it gets weighed, it gets marked. So we know which farmer it came from, which high tunnel it was in, which bed it was in, which row it was in, so that we can identify, if there was an issue or something like that, heaven forbid, we would have right down to which bed it was in and things like that. And so that's part of that cooperative, is being able to do that. And so then we get it to the local buyers much quicker, so it's fresher. And again, we don't have to worry about some of those issues of the food trucks haven't gotten here yet, so we're not able to grow. And then we also, too, through this program, can work on specialty crops. So if there are things that maybe you can't find in our grocery stores, like, for example, ghost peppers, those aren't very common in most of our grocery stores, but our farmers can cater what they grow to the need of the restaurant. So if we've got a restaurant who has a specialty dish that requires ghost peppers, then one of our farmers can grow that and provide that. So it's really a great opportunity. And again, community support is needed in everything that we do, so that we've got all those means necessary to help people succeed and thrive.
Thank you. What an amazing program. And I'm sitting here thinking, oh my goodness, it's all the economic circles coming together. It's everyone in a community trying to provide fresh food for the community, as well as some jobs.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
It's a great opportunity.
It really is. And the thing that I love about it, Lynn, I think you and I spoke about this previously, but grade A crops are what we're going to sell to our restaurants and to our grocery stores. So for example, if we've grown some things over here at Marion Matters and we have our grade A crops that we're going to sell, we have some grade B crops. Maybe the carrot was too short, or maybe it had a weird shape and the grocery store wouldn't want it. We are able to then, in our neighborhood, give the fresh produce away. And where our office is located would be considered a food desert. There's nothing for over 2 miles away for someone to get groceries. And so being able to give back to the community in that way is so helpful as well. I mean, there's so many benefits to a project like this. And I will tell you, I knew nothing about microfarming before I was asked to join the task force. And I was asked to join just to help identify potential farmers. And so I kind of stayed on with the task force several years in, and they said, well, we're looking for a community organization that would oversee this project. And we just feel like it lines nicely with what you're doing. And of course, our mission here is to provide leadership in developing and sustaining pathways out of poverty through education and support. And what better way to create a pathway out of poverty than to join forces with a major land bank university, to bring a curriculum that's free of charge so that all people have access to it. And so for us, we felt it really aligned with our mission. And of course, getting opportunity into the hands of folks who aren't sitting at these community tables naturally, but who we want to know about the opportunity. And so for us, it was a win-win. And we just want to continue to see where it grows, where we're building our community support as we speak. And our farmers, I think they'll be done with their training the end of 2023. And so in 2024, we should see more farms popping up. We plan to own a community farm as well. We have had a Sisler Companies, which is a local company here. They've graciously agreed to lease 12 acres to us for $1 a year to house a full-scale urban microfarm. And then that gives us some extra acreage for farmers who don't have their own land. Right. So if they want to add on to that community farm, they can certainly do that. They own their farm. That's something I think too that I would like to mention, because people get confused. So what does that mean if I don't have my own land? Well, the kit is the farm. So those high tunnels, those beds, those are owned by the person. So even if they're on Marion Matters community urban microfarm, they own it. They don't have to pay us for use of the land. They get to make a profit off from their farm. So I think that's a cool component as well, is, and if they decide maybe microfarming isn't for me, they can sell the kit, sell it to someone else. Maybe we want to buy it to keep it on that community farm here in Marion, or maybe there's another farmer that's doing really well and they want another farm. So it's not something that someone is stuck with at some point if they go, maybe this isn't for me. There are opportunities as well. So again, I think just a win-win for the community and all of the people here in Marion.
Good. Heidi, this is wonderful. Of course, we're going to be doing an update.
Yes.
We want to know how things continue to go as the training ends and the farming begins. I've put my email up, so if people want to know more or they want to get in contact with you, they can email me, and then I'll reach out to you and you can give them some further information, just in case they too want to say, hey, my community may be ripe for this as well. Does it have to be, I think this can happen anywhere. It doesn't have to just be in Ohio.
No, I mean, it really could happen anywhere. And, being able to put that all together, we've leaned on Mansfield because they went before us, right, and prepared a way, getting their microfarm up and running. But, it's going to look different in every community. We've certainly had to tweak things here and build as we go, but it's something that's doable anywhere, really. So.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. And,
well,
again, we're always amazed at the innovation that comes out, and, another opportunity for getting ahead graduates and for the whole community to work together.
Yes.
So again, we will be doing updates. And if anyone wants further information, just send an email to me and I'll get you connected. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great day.